Hello, and welcome to Chef Pam Creole Cuisine. Tonight we are going to prepare a sauce piquant, and my sauce piquant consists of oxtails. And the sauce piquant is a fresh tomato made based, and I'll also prepare for you a Mardi Gras Macque Choux. And a little twist on my Mardi Gras Macque Choux, I've added mangoes to it. So let's get started. First, what we're going to do is start to prepare our Macque Choux, our Mardi Gras Macque Choux. I use coconut oil, and I'll be using the moreover butter. And what I'm going to do is use a half a cup of the moreover butter. And let that melt in with the coconut oil. This will give it that really delicious tropical, yet still have that Creole flavor when we add in the spices and everything to make our Macque Choux. The coconut oil will help to give that sweet, tender taste on the corn. I use fresh corn on the cob. And it's real easy. I'll show you how it's done. What you do is you take the bigger end, place it down. Make sure your knife is sharp. And you're going to bring your knife down. And one thing that I've learned when doing Macque Choux, fresh Macque Choux, and cutting the kernels off of the cob, is that if you have it on the wrong side, your corn will fly. That's how you can tell that you put your corn placed down wrong. It will not fly all over the place if it's placed correctly in the right position. Just a little tip to help you in your cooking ventures. And as I say, make sure your knife is sharp when you're preparing to take the kernels off of the cob. Now you can hear my oil is sizzling. So what we're going to do is pour in that delicious, fresh, sweet corn off the cob into my stainless steel cookware. I love it because the heat is even, the heat is intense when you cook with stainless steel cookware. Now we're going to raise the heat up a little bit. A little hair from the corn. And you're going to mix in with your big stainless steel spoon, making sure that the oil and butter is mingling all over the kernels. This is my mango with tomatoes, and I have some cilantro in here with jalapeno peppers, onions, red onions, and then we have our bell pepper, the red, the yellow, the orange, and the green. And we're going to put this in our corn to make a delicious Macque Choux. I'll also be adding some organic coconut milk to give it that nice creamy flavor. I want to make sure that the corn is hot and sizzling and the heat is all over into the corn when we add our ingredients. It's sizzling just perfectly well. And I'm cooking this meal today in honor of my mom, Anna Zeno. Anna Mae Zeno is her name. I learned a lot of techniques from my mom. Macque Choux is really basically a corn that most black homes did, especially the slaves, taking it out of the field and taking that corn off of the cob, cooking it in some fat. At that time they would be using bacon fat or something like that because they had access to that when their master slaughtered the hog and left them all the things that would go away to the trash. And they made it delicious. They made a delicious meal out of that. So I'm adding in my corn, my bell peppers. And adding in my tomatoes, mangoes, peppers, while the corn is steaming hot. Just look at that, how beautiful the look of this Mardi Gras corn. Fresh Macque Choux is so delicious. And as I was saying, it's my mom's birthday today. She passed away, but I'm honoring her spirit in cooking. Special occasions, my mom would be in the kitchen preparing something for me and my brother on our birthday. Our birthday was always a special thing to her. She made sure that we had. We never went without. It wasn't a birthday that we didn't get something from my mom. So I'm honoring her in preparing this delicious meal. that she would love if she was alive. Trust me, she would be in the kitchen. There were times when I was cooking and my mom would sit at the bar at her apartment and I'd be preparing the food and she would sit down there and we'd have a conversation. And every little dish that I prepared, she would say, "Can I have a little taste? Let me try it out. Let me see how it tastes." And that's what I would do. I'd let her sample that and see how it tastes so she could tell me exactly what I needed or what was missing or if it was just right. That's how cooking was done in my mom's household. And so now I'm just carrying it on. Now we're going to go ahead and add that coconut milk. And I'm using the organic coconut milk, and what I'm going to do is add 1 cup of this delicious coconut milk. It's organic. It's going to make me a nice creamy corn to put over my white rice as a side dish with my sauce piquant oxtails. So we're going to go ahead and cook that on a low fire. Let that simmer. And what I'm going to do is begin our sauce piquant oxtails. I'm going to put these containers here in the sink here. We're going to heat that pan up. If you remember in my previous videos, I told you guys that you have to heat your oil in your pan, stainless steel. It produces even heat throughout your pan. It gets intense and it causes the meats to sear through and through, saving you all that time. Don't ever cook your meats in a cold pan because the meat is wet and cold, so it begins to suck up the heat, and once it starts to suck up the heat, the meat begins to get tough. That's why you're in your kitchen all that time trying to get that meat tender, when all you have to do is use a hot pan. Put your oil in that pan, and when you do that, it will sear. Gonna use vegetable oil, and with the eye, what I've added here is about 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil, letting my pan get nice and hot. So that we can put that marinade seasoned oxtails. And marinating your meat helps to tenderize it, save you cooking time. That is what our ancestors did. That is what my mom did. She seasoned that meat, gave it that resting time for the flavors and the seasons to go inside your meats. That is how you prepare a good, full taste, full body, tender, delicious protein that gives you nothing but delicious gravies because of the marinating that you allow the meat to have. Meat doesn't have any good taste, so you got to give it a taste. And that is what we do. I can feel the heat, smell the heat, which means that my pan is getting nice and hot. And we're going to do a tester. I have my heat on 4 to allow me to place all my oxtails in the pan. And then what I'll do after that, once I have it all placed in the pan, we're going to toss that in the pan. I have developed my own spices. This is my all-purpose spices. I'm having it packaged. And if you follow me on Facebook, you see my name, Creole Pam Indulgent Zeno. That is the name of my product. Creole Indulgence has been my name since 1988 when I started my catering business. So we're going to raise the heat up to 6 level and allow that meat to brown and sear. And I made a fresh sauce piquant using tomatoes, yellow tomatoes, red tomatoes. And what I did is blister it and made my own sauce piquant. Not a tomato sauce out of the can or the jar, but a fresh sauce piquant. Not a replica from anybody else, but my own. To blister the tomatoes, if you're interested, I will do a video on that. If you like what you're hearing and you like the video, thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe. Here at Chef Pam Creole Cuisine. Authentic cooking. Why Creole, you might be saying? Well, French dishes, and in case you didn't know, the Africans from Sierra Leone, from Ghana, from New Guinea, the Ivory Coast, Benin, all those areas in Africa, they spoke French. My grandfather, my mom's dad, and mom, they spoke French. And their French was different. My grandfather's French was totally different from my mom's French. Sometimes they clashed and they didn't understand a few words. that was said different because of the French that they spoke. So you guys can see exactly what's happening in my pan here. This is my Creole Indulgent all-purpose spice that I'm using on the oxtails. And my mom, she was really a connoisseur. She loved the fat on the meat. She called it tallow off of the meat. She liked that. You could give her just the gravy and rice. She liked that. She was an extraordinary woman, a sweet woman, a knowledgeable woman. And I couldn't find anything other and better than to cook and honor my mom like she would have done for me and Leonard, my brother. Cook us a good meal, have a cake, and a little gift. And it didn't just stop there. My aunts took part in it too. My godmother, Ethel Renee, and my Aunt Agnes Lave. They didn't go without giving their nieces gifts. That was a specialty for them. So my oxtail is browning very well. So we're going to lower it back to 4. Okay? I'm going to add my onions and bell peppers. White onions, red onions, green bell peppers, and some minced garlic is what I've added to the skillet. What I'm doing here, I'm getting the water hot. If you remember, I said you won't add cold water to a hot pot. Why ruin all your hard work that you've done to prepare your meat to brown and cook? And the last thing I'll add in will be green onions into my sauce piquante. This is what my sauce piquante look like with the fresh tomatoes. that I've cooked down. And when I said that I blistered the tomatoes, I used olive oil, heated it up, put those tomatoes in, and let them sizzle. And when they sizzle, what happened is the skin begins to pierce open, and the meat inside is what I use. You're able to take that skin off of the tomato and have fresh tomato sauce. That is my blister tomatoes. Just look at that. Doesn't that look delicious? The pretty red onions and white onions and green bell peppers. I fell in love with cooking when I became a mother and had to cook for my 3 sons, Jeffrey, Courtney, and Nick. You know, when you have boys, you can't have stuff and come with a little plate of food. You got to have something hearty for them to eat and fill them up, so that they can grow nice and strong. So cooking for them gave me the opportunity to try different ideas of meals that I wanted to prepare for them. Some they liked, some they didn't. Some was a favorite, some wasn't. Every household has some picky eaters. One of my picky eaters is Nick. So we're going to add in the tomato gravy. Sizzling and simmering. Look at that gravy. Look at that sauce. I'm going to bring that down to a low temperature and let it simmer. I picked up a bottle of wine. I don't know if you guys are familiar. Hold on just 1 second. Guess who have a new wine? Snoop. It's a red wine. And it is by 19 Crimes. It's called 19 Crimes. And the 19 Crimes is a story about Australia prisons where they would send prisoners there, and according